It's time to take a look at the things I like and don't like about the Google Pixel 3 XL. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to Tech with Brett, where I help tech work for you. My channel is full of Android tips and tricks and tutorials, so if you do have an Android phone, make sure you hit subscribe right now. So today we're going to take a look at the Google Pixel 3. Now, if you don't know me, I have been using a Samsung phone for the past 6 years. So I'm heavily invested in Samsung's ecosystem. So today is the first time I'm going to check out a stock Android device. And of course, straight from Google, it should be the best. So this is one of the items that I really liked is all the items that were provided inside the box. So here we first have our SIM card tool. Next, we have the USB-C headphones. I'm actually really impressed with the sound quality of these. They're able to push quite a bit of bass. Next, we have the USB-C charger. Now it's USB-C on both ends, which I found kind of interesting, but it is a fast charger. And then we have a USB connector. So this tool allows you to transfer everything over from your old phone, whether it be an Android or an iPhone device, to the Pixel 3. Now I made a full video about how to do that you can check out at the end. Now next we have the USB-C to 3.5 millimeter dongle. I don't know what, oh wait, hang on a second, I'll be right back. First impression of this is I'm gonna lose it. So check out this cool thing I have called the dongle dangler. This little thing sits on your keys, and whenever you need the dongle, there it is. You don't have to go out and buy a new one. Hashtag not sponsored. Link is in the description below. Comes in a variety of colors. Now Google did send me all of these, so thanks Google. They sent me the Pixel 3 XL as well as the wireless charging stand and this pretty cool case. So I'm really in love with the wireless charging stand. I like how tall it is and how it's able to kind of put the phone right in your face when it's laying down. So if you have this on your nightstand or something, right there, you can see the screen, very easy to see. And when you're using this and it's charging, you actually see that you can quickly interact with your Google Assistant. You can select the bedtime routine, and then you can see other information right there. And in the morning, when your alarm is about to go off, the screen will slightly brighten up and become a yellow effect. So it kind of turns on the light, which I'm really excited about because right now it's getting really dark in the mornings and there's no light in the room. So this actually has helped me get up much better in the morning. So that's a pretty quick review on the charging stand, but it is fast charging and it works pretty well. Now next, this case, pretty cool little case. You can get these custom made, I think with different things on the back, but it's a little slippery. I just couldn't take it anymore. I had to go and pick up the good old Spec case, which I really like. It adds a lot of protection to the phone, and I love how it grips to the phone. Now moving on to that subject is the size of this device. So I'm a huge Note fan, so I've used Note phones for years. I love the size of those, but one thing I noticed is that this is slightly wider than the Note phones. And since the Note has the little curve and the little edge, it's able to feel slimmer in the hand. So it's not a huge deal, but I did notice this was a little bit harder to reach in certain areas when using the XL version. So if you're concerned about reaching the entire phone, you may want to go with the regular Pixel 3. But other than that, I really like the design of the phone. I definitely put a case on it just because it's kind of slippery. Don't want to break this or anything. But yeah, overall, I like the look of it. And of course, we'll get to the top of the phone at the end of the video. So first, let's talk about the OS and what operating system is on here, which is Android Pie. So this is the stock version of Android Pie. That's what you get when you get a phone from Google. I think it looks really nice, and there's some really cool enhancements. So up here, I thought it was a little dot. It's actually this little boat that just moves around on the wallpaper the whole time. There's a bunch of different scenes that you can use, and so I really like this one. So that's pretty fun. And then overall, the OS is very smooth, pretty solid. I like the way it looks. I like the way that you have all of these little bubble icons. And then you can, of course, add different home screens and you can see the background moves. And then over here, you have access to your Google homepage or essentially like news articles and different things. And you can customize this and turn it all off. Now, down here, you'll notice that it's a bit different. So if you want to go into your apps, you do swipe up and there are all your applications. And here it's giving you recommendations on different things. So that's been fun. And then if you want to go to your recent apps, you just swipe up a little bit and here you have your recent apps. And I'm going to get to that topic in a little bit. But overall, pretty impressed with the OS so far. I like that the Google bar is right there, always available. And then here it's recommending apps that you may use all the time or at a certain time of day. It's going to give you that information. Now, one thing that I really like is, of course, that it has all the Google software. So I typically download the Google Calendar, the Google Contacts app, and all of those applications. Here I use Hangouts, Google Voice, Google Allo. So I really like that they are all already on the phone. So that's nice that I don't have to go and download a second application if it was already available on the phone. So that's been really cool. And then just going through the settings, everything looks really good. It's really simple. And then here you have your quick contacts and everything works really well. I do like that there's this new auto rotate. So if you don't want auto rotate on, when you're in an app down here in the corner, it will show a little button that you can press and it will rotate that specific app. Here you have a night light, so it will actually dim the phone. So when you're getting ready for bed, that helps you so that you can sleep better. It's kind of like blue light filter on the Samsung devices. And then you can quickly cast and turn on your hotspot and everything right there. So then if you want to go back quickly to applications, you can just swipe this over and it will go back and forth. So if I go home, so let's say I go into an app and then I swipe forward, it will go to the last app that I was using. So then I could scroll through and find another app I want to use, go into the camera, swipe back, and it'll go back to where I was. Now I have seen it stutter a little bit, which I'm kind of surprised that it's doing that, but this does only have 4 GB of RAM, but every once in a while I will see that. But other than that, it's actually been pretty smooth. Next, let's talk about one of the coolest things that you can do on the Pixel 3, which is screen calling. So when somebody calls you, it pops up an option to screen the call. So let's test this out. So over here, I'm going to make the call on my other phone. And this is great because I get all kinds of spam calls, and I even have a brand new number in here, and I was still getting spam calls, so I was able to test it out. So here I get the call, and then here I have the option to screen call.
Hi, the person you're calling is using a screening service from Google and will get a copy of this conversation. Go ahead and say why you're calling.
I want to know more about the Pixel 3.
Do you need to get a hold of them urgently?
Yes, I do. And then here you get a bunch of more options. You can say, call me back, I'll call you back. And then here you can just pick up and answer the call, or you can end the call right there. And there you can see that anything I say on the other line is coming through.
Thanks. Connecting you now.
Hello? So there you go. That's been a super convenient and handy feature to have. So I don't know if that's going to come to other Android devices, but right now Pixel is the only device to have that, and I love it. One other enhancement that's really neat on the Pixel 3 is you can actually squeeze the sides and it will launch Assistant. So here if I just squeeze, there you can see that Assistant starts at the bottom. So that's really convenient. I don't always have to reach down to the middle and hold down the button, and then I can just squeeze and activate Google Assistant and do whatever I need it to do. So that's nice that that's completely built in. You see Assistant all over the place on this phone. I also like that when you are in a phone call, so if you do get a phone call and you answer it and then you go home, here you can actually see the phone call kind of pops up in a little chat head. So that's been really nice. Here I can go in and mute it. I can go back to the call, turn on speaker, and end the call right there. So that's a cool little enhancement. We've seen that, of course, on Samsungs. They do other little pop-ups. And then here I can just drag the call down to end the call just like that. Now next, let's talk about some of the camera. So the camera is one of the biggest features that people rave about on the Pixel phones, because on the back here, it only has one lens, but it's able to do some of the portrait shots where other manufacturers use two cameras, like the Samsung phones that I've had in the past will do that as well. Up here at the front, you do have two different lenses so that you can do a wide angle shot. So when you buy a Pixel, you do get full high quality, unlimited backup in Google Photos until I think it's 2022. So if you're taking a ton of photos on your phone, you want that full quality, this will back those up, but it will only do it for this device. So let's check out some of the photos that I've been able to take with this phone. I have all kinds of photos in here. There's a few that I'll show you in a minute, but let's go down here and you can kind of see how good this camera is. So let's go into this shot right here. So let me show you a few things on how good this camera is. So here in this shot, this was taken on the front facing camera. And here we can see that it blurred out the background. This was with the portrait mode. We can go into the settings here and you get a lot of cool options. So here's the color pop, where it will then immediately put us in color and the background is kind of grayscale. You have all these other features as well. And then you can also, on the color pop, you can choose the background. Now I am quite impressed with how this turned out. You can see that the edge detection on the photo worked really well in blurring out the background, and it's able to do it really quick. So there's actually a chip that is separate. So when you take a picture, it then sends the information to that chip. It doesn't have to send it to Google or anything. It does it right there on the phone, and it can do the processing, and it looks pretty good. So let's go here and show you a few more. Now I'm taking a lot of pictures of my kids. They're always moving around. So being able to take a picture like this really quickly and then have it processed actually worked really well. Now one of the things with some of the other portrait cameras is you have to go back, where with the Pixel camera you don't have to do that. You just snap the photo and then it will process and blur out the background right there. You don't have to do anything else. So then I can go back in here and I can see the original. And then I can go and see the portrait shot. And I'm really impressed with how it looks. It just has a really nice natural tone to it. And it does seem like it does some extra image processing on what you're taking a picture of. So there's a lot more rich tones than you would normally see just from the regular camera. So overall, really impressed with the camera. It's able to do all that with one, which is pretty cool. So let's go in and take a look at some of the other cool features in the camera. All right, so let's jump into the camera and check out some of these things. Now I will overlay some of the different examples from actual real world shots, but here we have the panorama portrait shot. So this is pretty cool. This is where it blurs the background. Here we have the regular camera, the video option, and then more. So more is some of my favorite things. So right here we have photosphere. So that's something that you can do and take 360-degree photos. Really excited about. Haven't been able to play with slow motion too much, but here we have photo booth. Photo booth will automatically take a photo when the time is right. So here it's going to snap a photo whenever it finds something that it really likes. I don't know. There you go. So as soon as I smile, snapped a photo. Pretty sweet. Now on top of the pretty impressive camera, one of my favorite features is the playground. Over here in the back of the settings of the camera, you have playground, and this is an augmented reality option where you can insert things into the real world, and as you move the camera, they will stay there. So if we click the little sticker icon here, we can see that we have Marvel Studio Avengers, we have Stranger Things characters, The Last Jedi, and then you have all these other ones, these little puppies and other food things, and even stickers. So I can just throw up one of these stickers, I can tap on him, move him around, and then he essentially just stays right there. So in an augmented space, he will be there. So let's throw in another character here. So let's drop in a BB-8 right here on the table. So now you can see the BB-8's right there, and he will move around. We can throw an R2-D2 over here. And so depending on the space you're dealing with, it's a little hard to see here, but you can see that as I move around, they're kind of just hanging out, and they do run into each other, but you can click on them and you can move them. So let's move him over here, and let's move BB-8 over here. And then you can snap a photo, or you can also hold down and take a video. And then they actually start to interact with each other. So this is really fun. You can even have people in the background interacting with one another. So then up here we can clear our little plate, or we can drag them up there to delete. And then here we can type a message. Star Wars, so original, I know. And let's delete this one. But I like this because you could create a little scene, put up Star Wars or whatever you choose to have this be, and you can change the colors and change what style it is, and it will just stay there and hang out. So there you go. We can create this fun little scene called Star Wars, take pictures and all. But then it gets really fun when you go into the front-facing camera. So if we switch to selfie mode, now it's going to take a photo of me, and it's going to throw characters in here. So it will only do one character at a time when you are doing this mode, but let's hit the stickers here and let's throw in Iron Man in the background. So he started over there, but I want him over here. So I just move the camera and there you can see that he's hanging out on that side, and he will interact with how I look and the different scene I'm doing. So you can see as I'm looking around, he's kind of looking around. If let's see if I point, ooh, and I really like how it cuts him out. So he's actually behind me in the shot. So let's take a picture. Ah! There we go. I think I got a good one. So pretty cool little shot there that you can do with the playground feature on the Pixel 3. So now let's check out the selfie mode real quick. So the portrait mode, we just need to go to the front facing camera. And then here we have portrait mode. So if I snap a photo, as soon as you take the photo here, you can see it's processing. And then instantly you can see that blurred background shot. So if we zoom in here, you can see that I'm all in focus. And then the background there is blurred. And we can go back to the original shot if we want, just by clicking right there. And so I like that you can change that. So now let's check out the wide angle selfie. So here's the regular selfie. And then if we zoom out a little bit more, we can get a little bit more into the shot. So pretty cool there. You can also zoom in on the selfie photo and zoom out. Now up here, you do have the option where you can turn off the auto retouching. So let's turn that off. And then maybe I won't look so handsome. I don't know. All right, so there you go. That is the selfie camera and some of the camera features on the Pixel 3 XL. Now that you've seen some of my favorite parts about the Pixel 3, let me show you some of the things that I'm not quite as impressed with or there's room for improvement. So first of all, let's talk about the little home screen layout here and the little pill down at the bottom. So typically when I'm swiping up on my phone, I want to go right into the app drawer and find a specific app. I don't really like to have all of my apps here on the home screen, and if I do, it just takes up all the space. So if I want to go to my apps, usually I swipe up, but that's not my apps. I have to swipe up again and then I see all my apps. Now there is a way to do it where you have to swipe up and then slowly bring that up, but I don't got the time for that. So usually if I want to do multitasking, you would press a button on the side and it would jump into multitasking. Now there is this thing where if I go into an app and then I just swipe over once, it will go to the most recent app, but there you can see it jump through a bunch of different applications at once. So not the best use. So again, I would want to swipe up. If I swipe up fast, it should pull up my app drawer like that. Instead of having to swipe up, there's my app drawer. And then the recent apps, I think if I do just like a slower swipe up, then it can open the recent apps, which I'm fine with. And then I can jump back and forth between those apps. Now, if I want to close any of these apps, when I swipe up, I can do that. Now, there is a cool feature that's right here. So let's say I want to copy something on Instagram, but Instagram doesn't let you do that. So all I need to do is swipe up, and then here I can long press on that little pop-up, and it kind of like took a screenshot, and now it gives me the option to copy that really easily. Now let me show you if I go into the application itself and I try and copy that, it will not let me do that. So that's one cool trick about this new recent apps menu. But again, I'm kind of disappointed with how it's working. Now, if you want to do multi-window on this, you just select the app icon right there. Here you can do split screen, and then here you choose the second screen that you want to use. Now, compared to a Samsung phone, pretty limited here. You can just do 2 apps, and that's about it. There's no like rearranging the apps, saving the apps on the home screen. It's just you open 2 apps and that's it. If I want to change this app, I can press home and I can choose a second app. But that's pretty much all you get with the multi-window, and then to close it, you swipe up like that. Now next, let's talk about the speaker. So there are 2 speakers. Up here we have the main speaker, and down here we have the other speaker as well. So there are 2 front-facing surround sound speakers, which is pretty cool. There has been a lot of reports of buzzing happening. I did experience that on mine as well. I'm not sure why. Sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. But I also heard that happen with the Pixel 2 as well. But let me play some music so you can hear. So I couldn't really hear much buzzing there, but when it does go all the way up, you can hear it's trying a little too hard. I felt the back of the phone vibrate a tiny bit. But overall, watching a movie or something, it sounded really nice. I was impressed with them, but there could be a little bit of improvement there. Now, I don't know if you saw that, but when I went into the app, I saw my second notch. So I don't know if you heard about that bug, but here the notch sometimes shows up on the side. And so I just saw it. Let's see if we can do it again. Play my Office Party playlist from Google Play Music.
Okay, your Google Play Music playlist called Office Party. Here you go.
I did it again. There it was. Well, I'm pretty happy that I got it to show up, even though that's not good. Okay. All right, so that's moving on to our last topic here is the notch. So one of the things that I think should be done is the way that they rate phones with notches. So considering that this is a 6.3 inch screen, I don't think it is because you're missing part of that screen. So compared to like the Note 9 here, we have a 6.4 inch screen. And so if we line up the bottom there at the top, you can see that you get all 6.4 inches of phone. But here we have this big notch cut out of the Pixel 3. So I think there should just be a different rating on that. But overall, I haven't worried too much about having the notch. The only problem is when you are watching a video or something and the notch is there. Now, overall, I actually have gotten used to the notch and how it is. You have your notifications up there and some of the other items. I would like to see like the clock go back here and maybe make more use of the space. Of course, this is the biggest notch that you can find. You can turn it off. So if I go into the settings here, you have to turn on developer options, and then you can come down here and turn on display cutout, and I can actually hide it. So there it has now hid the notch. The phone looks much better because you don't have that big notch at the bottom. Of course, the screen is smaller. So now when you watch a video from YouTube, it fills up the entire screen. So here, when this video is actually formatted correctly, there's no notch or anything, and it looks great. But if we go in and turn on the notch, and then we go back to the same video, now you can see that it plays the video bigger, which is nice, but over here it's cut out on the side. Now, depending on which app you use, sometimes you'll notice that it actually makes the whole screen smaller, and now it's off center. So something you could get used to. Usually I'd be holding the phone with my right hand, and I'm just covering the chin right here, but the notch is something that kind of gets in the way and then makes the screen smaller. So as long as the video is able to play this way, I think it's okay. You get the notch cut out there, and I've said notch too many times, but that's kind of my experience with the notch. I would prefer it to not be there, but I think overall it does make use of the full screen. So as long as the video formats correctly, it's going to be okay. So my experience with the battery has been pretty good. I'm not using this a ton throughout the day, but here I still have some battery really late at the night. So that's really nice, but I think it would perform well overall. And over time, it's going to give you better battery life because it's actually going to close down applications in the background so that they're not continually running. That's some of the new Android Pie features. Now, over time, I'm getting used to more and more of the features that are available here. But after being on Samsung for so many years, there are so many little tweaks that Samsung has done that just works so well, and it's so easy to use. I really do like that how Samsung has the home button that you can press, where here, anytime I want to use this, I do have to swipe up if it's hidden to press the home button. And so there's all these little tweaks that are definitely better, I think, on Samsung, but I'll keep playing with this, see how I like it. So I'm most likely going to be doing a Note 9 Pixel 3 comparison video in the future. So please let me know if you have any further questions or if you'd like to see any more tutorials about the Pixel 3. So if this is your first time here, I would love to have you subscribe so that you can be notified of my new and upcoming videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.